everyone, today's construction day 116. Wow, what a week.
You got that right. What a week. You guys know we've been very busy the last 3 or 4 days with that scuba class, and we're going to do a final video, so a second video. We already posted one on the final half of getting certified. So did we pass? Yes. We are scuba certified, and we went down to 18 meters for our final test. The final test was pretty thorough. So that's the key. You really have to do well that final dive. So that 6th dive, they want you to do all the skills, and we did very well with that. So 18 meters is about 60 feet. So that's how far we went down. So we will do a final video on Sunday, okay? And we'll get that out. So we're very pleased with the update. We've been gone from the house basically Sunday through Wednesday. We didn't get back up here to the site till today, Thursday. So very, very happy with the progress. And we got a lot of updates for you guys. So see you up at the work site. All right, guys, so I've done 6 dives in the last 3 days, so my ears are clogged over, so I don't know if I'm talking too loud or too soft, so I guess I'll find out with the playback. But guess what happened when we were gone for those 2 days? A lot of progress. So definitely have a lot to go over. So you can see that they're very busy with the skim coat and getting everything to the correct level. Some additional waterproofing work on the carport. So you know, we've been gone for 3 work days. So today's Thursday, and so I want to get into it and show you guys all the progress. We're very happy. And then I'm going to try to get into some details on how they skim coat, because this is the first time for me. Again, I've watched it on YouTube channels, but first time live. And I just talked to Jerry, the foreman. He went over the different processes, because there's a few different layers of process to skim coat. So they're working it now, and let's get into the updates. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the steps of doing the skim coat. So they pretty much have the first coat on the house, but I want to show you here the spare bathroom. So here's the rendered wall, right? It's the rendered wall, and it has all these rough marks. So it's not smooth. You can see here, see that little bit of concrete that's sticking out? That's like was a drip that came on, and it just dried. So the first step of the skim coat is they put somebody in with some sandpaper as well as a metal trowel, and they knock all these high points off to get it smooth, to be ready to be skim coat for the first layer. So anywhere it's rough, they come through and they knock that down and get that the best they can. And an example of that would be this little piece that's left here in the main room. See the raw concrete? But when you look at it, you do not see any big, say, globs of concrete. It's all been smoothed out to the best of their ability, okay? So once they get that down, they come through with the skim coat, and they put a first layer on. And what that does is, you know, fills in, and you can see here how smooth this is already. And this is the first coat. So that's the first step. They put 1 coat of skim coat. So then you can hear Sandy in the background. So then what they do is once that dries, they come back and do a second coat. And then the second coat, which is this side, really makes it feel smooth. So 2 layers of skim coat. I don't know if you can see but it's like glass. It's really smooth. And then once that second coat dries, they come through with basically a palm sander. So here's an example. So they have a couple of these with some sandpaper, and I'll get this on video throughout the day. But what they do is they come through and they use the palm sander just in case there's any high marks or any high parts of cement or skim coat, and they smooth this out. So again, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but this is extremely smooth. So that's how they do it. You see, here's the second layer that Jerry's putting on. Here's the skim coat itself. So it's just basically a powder mixed with water, and they mix it real good so it's like a paste. And then they have it on the trowel. And what Jerry's doing here is the second layer. But just look how smooth this looks. And keep in mind, there's 2 coats of paint that'll go on this. 2 coats of paint on top of this. So here's the spare bedroom. Very, very smooth. Now you still need to sand this because this is the second coat on, but you can see there's a little bit of splatter here, just a little bit here and there. I mean, really smooth, but just a little bit. But they'll come through this, and it pops right off, actually. Because, guys, we're seeing this for the first time. I've never seen this before. As you guys know, we've been busy the last few days. So we've only been on site here for about a half hour. But they'll come through now that the second coat is on, and they'll sand this and get it just smooth. And that's what the contractor always said, that he has his crew really knows how to do skim coat, and they get it to look like glass. Remember the swirls that was in the concrete? And I've been in a lot of homes here where it looks like they didn't do a good job with the skim coat, or maybe none at all. Maybe they just sanded the concrete and painted it. But I've seen a lot of swirls, and maybe I'll get that on camera because that's also in our townhome. It's like that. But I talked to the contractor a long time ago, and he said, no, we do 2 layers of skim coat, and they'll get it really smooth, and then it'll be 2 layers of paint on top of that. Looking really good. All right, so here's Robert, and you can see this is a second coat, and he's working this way, so he's putting a second coat. So you can see it's a little darker. So just layering it up, and he has his bucket full, and the laborers are making it as needed. And you can see it's just like paste. So it has the feel of like a joint compound to me. And maybe that's what it is, but it's like a joint compound. And they're just smoothing it out, and it's hiding all the imperfections, especially the second coat. And it's not going to show up, I don't think, on this camera, but right to the left of Robert, where the first coat is on, you can still see some cement swirls. Try to get in a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. It's going to be hard to see because I could barely see it live here. But then once he covers it up, and you can see him going over that, it really hides any swirls in the concrete. And then when this coat here, which is the second coat, dries, they'll come through with that palm sander and really smooth it out, make it feel like glass. All right, here in Wilma's dirty kitchen. Ready for this? Wow. Remember how cluttered this was? This looks great. Janelle did a great job. We got this down to the right level, so now it's ready for all the stone, gravel that needs to go in, and rebar for the concrete. It looks like they got the rendering done on the outside wall. And the rebar that's sticking out is going to be embedded in the cement. So they'll bend that down, and when they pour the cement, it'll just help support the slab. But you can see the blue line here for the water. This is where the water will come in. And we may do a change here. A contractor was with me here on Saturday, and I keep telling him, you know, the plan was, since the water, and I was just trying to use just some common sense, the water line comes about here from the municipal. So I figured just come through the wall and just have the water system here. And I think a viewer mentioned this a while back as well, but the contractor said, do you really want the big water tank right here, and then your pressure pump, and then your pressure tank, and then that kicks on and makes noise in this room? And you may hear, if you're, you know, here cooking, you know, you'll be hearing the motor of the water pump. He said, why don't you take this area here, because the dirty kitchen starts right at this column and goes this way. Now, that's a big area. So he said, well, why don't you just have this be like a little workshop? You know, and you could put your tools in here or whatever. So we have to think about the daylight. So we don't want to build a wall here. But this would be like a storage area, and then we can figure out how to cover it up. So what he suggested, we're still thinking about it, but he suggested move this out to the pergola area and have all the pool pump and the generator and all the water tank stuff out in that area, all in one area. So that's a pretty good suggestion. But take a look, they got it all smoothed out, they got it tamped, comes across. Here's my scuba diver, certified. Janelle did a great job. So of course we just have to check and make sure it's all at the right level. So what we're doing here, if you notice, it's dropping down just a bit. So we're going down 10 centimeters because this is going to be all open. So if we get a lot of driving rain, we don't want the water to puddle and then come this way and come into the dirty kitchen. So where this slab will be 10 centimeters lower than the house, stepping up into the house 10 centimeters, it'll drop another 10 centimeters here. And that's about 2 inches, 2-inch drop, just to have a lip here to stop water from coming in. But look, all smoothed out. All the rough-in for the plumbing is now buried. And look, he's coming across the carport. Remember I said it had to come down quite a bit. And just by eye, it looks like we're still high over here. But that's okay, because this will all eventually come down. And we're going to leave the septic sticking out about 6 inches. So we'll render the sides 6 inches down and then bury to that. But again, this is still high, and you can see he's starting to move the dirt down. And there's still, you know, quite a bit here. See how high that is? So we knew a lot had to come out. And there's some rocks over there that have to come down to the fence line. So look at the job he's done. Now, Janelle has been doing this on his own. He wasn't able to get labor, so I'm going to talk to him today to see if we can get a second guy to speed this up. But he's been doing this all on his own in just a couple of days. So he's working on backfilling the fence now. Looking good. So remember my leach field. We're going to have a leach out of the third chamber, and I'll discuss this one more time for a lot of new viewers. So what we're doing is a little different. So the 2 toilets will go into chamber 1 and spill over to chamber 2, and that's the only waste that'll go into these 2 big chambers, just 2 toilets. Then all the sinks and showers will exclusively go in chamber 3 and then leach out. Now, the contractor says the leach will probably never be needed because it's only 2 of us in the house, and it's just showers. So there's 2 showers, and then sinks there's going to be 4 sinks, right? 2 in the bathrooms, 1 in the main kitchen, 1 in the dirty kitchen. So 4 sinks dumping into this 3rd chamber. And he said the way it drains here, and we're so high, he says he believes that the leach will be never needed because typically there's no leach fields here in the Philippines. So it's very rare. But we will have a 6-inch pipe come out here and just taper down. And I believe it goes out 32 feet. And then the last 16 feet we'll have holes drilled in the pipe for drainage, and then we'll put gravel underneath it. I think you get about, what, 6 to 12 inches of gravel under the pipe. And then we're going to be looking for some fabric to put around the perforated PVC. If not, one viewer gave us suggestions just to put sacks over it. That's what he did, and it worked fine. So we'll figure that all out. We have time for that, but there will be a leach field here that'll come out probably, I don't know, 18 inches down from the top, and then taper downward 32 feet. So that's going to be happening here soon. But you can see Janelle is getting this all to the correct level, and then eventually this will all be cement. All right, so take a look here. And guys, I'm really struggling with talking in this video because my ears are really clogged over. So again, I don't know if I'm talking too loud or too soft. It feels like I can only hear myself with inside my head. And I'll go away in a couple days. But this is the area that I did the other day. So this is basically what it's going to look like. And it looks like it's just a tad high to the left, but we'll put a level on it. Might have to go down a couple inches, and that's just my eye. And it looks like it's a little high there at the very end. But you can see that, you know, this will be all concrete, 2-meter overhang. Then there'll be a couple of steps. So there'll be steps here, steps over there, and steps over here, coming down. So 2 steps, and then this will all be concrete, which will end up about 4 inches below the coping. So that's the goal, to have this 4 inches below, because we don't want any rainwater from here going into the pool. And look, Janelle got all this dirt out of here in just 3 days. All the way across, and then turn, and then we still need a little work here. But you can see the transition, so it'll be a step up. Again, this is all going to be concrete, and then this is going to be the bar area. So we want the concrete, and it looks like this has to come down a little bit because we're going to have to pour 4 inches of concrete. So you see how he made it flush. So we have to take that dirt out, and that's good because that's extra dirt. It's going to be extra work for him, but we need some extra dirt here in this area. But there'll be concrete coming out from this corner, coming out this way, turning and going all the way across. And then we haven't made the final decision, but at some point it'll transition from concrete to gravel, and the gravel will taper to the fence, and then any rainwater will just follow down. So we haven't decided how far out we're going to come with the gravel. But this will be the bar area, and then this will be concrete as well. And then here we have a lot more dirt to come up from down there, and there's a lot of dirt in front of that fence, that nice black topsoil. So once all this gets done, and we're talking towards the end of the project, because look at all this cement slurry left over. So that's going to have to be chipped out, and then we'll bring in some dirt, and we're either going to do grass or gravel. We haven't decided, but we got plenty of time for that. I mean, we're talking, this is like February when we'll start doing this. But look at the progress that he's made in 3 days. Now the next thing that the contractor and I talked about on Saturday is, remember I said we're going to do a double waterproofing? So he has the pool waterproofing. So there is Sakara in the cement, Sakara, so that's good. That's waterproofing 1. But see how it's darker now? I guess the pool waterproofing is a much better quality than Sakara. So we went ahead and used some of it. And you can see how he went up. So that's a double waterproof coming across. So now this is ready to be backfill. So now, once we're done with the carport, we can get Janelle in here to get all this trash out and then start getting this all leveled. And then I feel good that the fact that this has a double waterproofing, so it should help with drainage. And then this will be concrete, and we're going to pitch this, and we won't come back here much. I don't think we will, but we'll pitch it and come out for the pergola. And then it'll jump up a few inches, and there's going to be a drain here that's going to go under the concrete. So any water that comes this way will hit a drain and will go under this slab, because we don't want the water running here, because this is where all the pool pump and maybe the water storage tank and the generator. So we don't want to have it flat and just have the water run through. So there's going to be drainage here, and then it will go under a pipe, then go through, and then very similar to that blue backwash. That's for the backwash to take it down to the front of the house, because when we backwash the pool pump filter every week, we don't want the water to come here. So we have this 2-inch pipe, which will be the backwash. So it'll be very similar to that, and it'll just follow the backwash pipe. Any rainwater that's collected from back there will just come through and just follow this grade. And you can see how it really drops there. So things is definitely taking shape, and Will and I are very pleased. All right, so here is the actual skim coat mix. It comes in 20 kilogram bags, and I guess there's different colors because this says skim coat white, but it's just a powder, and they mix it with water to make it into a paste, and then that's what they use to put the white on the walls. All right, it's time for a puppy update. So here is baby boy number 1. See, his eyes are open. Look at that, very cute. They're doing very good. Very chubby. I mean, they got little plump little bellies. We got to try to figure out how old they are. They were born right after Thanksgiving, so we're going to have to do the math. So what's today? The 8th, right? December 8th?
The 8th, yes.
And they were born like maybe the 25th. So about 13 days old. So let's say they're 2 weeks old. So that's about right. So we'll have to just calculate that. But I think they're about 13, 14 days old. But look how cute. And then look at mommy. And Wilma just moved them out to the dirty kitchen area because the guys are afraid to go in there to skim coat.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid to skim coat. But she's a very good mommy. She really takes care of the puppies. Mm-hmm. And I'll go ahead and give her her puppies back. So, there you go. Okay, mommy. You're doing a good job, mommy. All right, here's baby boy number 2. His eyes is open as well. Look at that face. And kind of hard to tell, but it looks like he has blue eyes. Oh, he's yawning a little bit. Very fat belly. They're doing very good. They're starting to crawl around a little more. Let's look at these ears. He's got a little something on this ear. I got that off. Look at that ear. About the cutest thing you ever seen. But their eyes are open, and it looks like his eyes is going to be blue. So there he is, baby boy number 2. All right, so my buddy Vince doesn't like to use a palm sander, so he made his own. and he'll make a tool. And I gotta get that on camera. I haven't done that yet. But he made that. He made that little palm sander. But he has sandpaper. And you can see now that they got the second layer on. And that second layer is dry. So you can see the second layer over here. You can see it's a little darker. But once it dries, he's just smoothing it out and just making sure it's nice and easy. And Jerry's just teasing him because he's on camera. Yeah, he made that tool. So I just finished videoing Vince with his tool, and I didn't know he was making one. I didn't see he had it to his side. So it's Robert and Ramel. So here it is. Let me get close. What type of wood?
Gemelina again.
Gemelina again?
Yeah.
Very nice. So in his spare time, during his lunch, look how good that looks, though. Let me see, Vince.
Oh, don't.
I'll buy that from you. I'll give you 500 pesos for that when it's done.